You guys can be seated. My name is Michael Crowder, and I'm the Dean of the Graduate School. This is indeed a special day, and we are pleased to have many of our doctoral graduates with their families and friends on this beautiful campus, although a little bit muggy too. We're also have many others joining us live stream, so this special day can be shared by family and friends who could not join us here today. Because of the nature of the accomplishments of the people in this room, we are proud to offer a separate ceremony for our doctoral graduates. Group of soon-to-be alumni deserve this special recognition. Let me start by first introducing our platform party. Joining me today is Dr. Gregory Crawford, 22nd President of Miami University, Dr. Renata Crawford, Miami University Ambassador and Adjunct Professor of Physics, Dr. Chris Makaroff, Interim Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Amity Noltemeyer, Dean, College of Education, Health and Society, Dr. Renee Berenstein, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences, and Dr. Jeffrey Sherman, President of Reaction 35 LLC and this year's alumni speaker. Being assisted today by Dr. Jason Abbott, Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Cindy Klestanek, Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Megan Davidson, Assistant to the Dean and Manager of Graduate Student Services, and Martin Lee, Graduate Assistant. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Renata Crawford, Miami University's Ambassador and Adjunct Professor of Physics.
All right. Good afternoon and congratulations, doctoral class of 2025. This is the end stop. Congratulations. Also, one of your family members mentioned that this is it. He's not going to another graduation ceremony. This is the most amazing of them all. This is a day full of pride for you, your family, your friends, and for all of us, because you have added to the knowledge and scholarship at Miami and thereby have left your legacy. Thank you for your commitment and dedication. I know it's been a lot of work, but you've made it and you will do amazing things. You will be amazing Miami ambassadors. So please always keep that in mind. Because there we go. All right, technical issues. I am now pleased to introduce. Can we just keep this? Miami Greg. Microphone. This one comes in and out. Is just testing your resilience. You always have to be ready. Let's see. All right. How about this one? All right. Dr. Sherman is president and Reaction 35 LLC's president, a company dedicated to the development and deployment of value-driven, sustainable technologies for the chemical industry. Reaction 35's current focus is on advancing solutions that enhance the circularity of plastics and composite materials. Before joining Reaction 35, Dr. Sherman found GRT Inc., where he co-invented the GRT technology, a process for converting natural gas and natural gas liquids into fuels and chemicals. He led the sale of the technology for natural gas feedstocks to Marathon Oil Company in 2008, followed by the sale of the natural gas liquids portion to Reaction 35 in 2013. As part of the latter transaction, Dr. Sherman became a member of the Reaction 35 leadership team. Dr. Sherman began his career at Exxon Chemical Company in Baton Rouge. He chose to leave Exxon to pursue entrepreneurial ventures and has since founded or held senior executive roles in several small to mid-sized companies. Over the course of his career, he has developed multiple technologies across diverse sectors and holds more than 50 U.S. patents. Dr. Sherman earned his PhD in chemistry in 1987, working with Neil Danielson and publishing 3 peer-reviewed publications. As each of you prepare to take the next step in your professional and personal journey, I hope you find inspiration in Dr. Sherman's story, a testament to the power of innovation, resilience, and the lifelong impact of a Miami education. It is now my great honor to welcome back to Miami University, Dr. Jeffrey H. Sherman.
I appreciate the applause, although when I'm done, you all may have wished they had not had a second microphone. First, well, these are new. I didn't have these when I was back in school, but this is my very first hooding ceremony, and first I want to thank everyone for making it possible and inviting me back here to speak, because it's an absolute pleasure to do so. Of course, I want to congratulate the PhD recipients and their families. It was a long time ago, but I certainly remember all the effort that I put in, but also my family and my friends put in helping me along the way. As I said, this was my first hooding ceremony, mainly because I was one of those people that handed in my thesis on a Friday and started with Exxon in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on a Monday morning. That was much to my mother's chagrin. She said, "You're not going through the hooding ceremony?" I said, "Mom, I'm broke. I need to start working." She goes, "Well, it's a good point." So I got off the hook on that one. The strange thing is I really did not anticipate getting a PhD in chemistry. It was not until my senior year of my undergraduate studies that I did some undergraduate research, and I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I ran any experiment that had not been done in a teaching laboratory billions of times before. So I decided I was going to earn a PhD, and my father, who always wanted me to be a doctor, said, "Well, that's not the doctor I had in mind." So at any rate, I've loved what I've done ever since, and I wouldn't change a thing, maybe a couple tweaks here and there. The one thing that was consistent, even though the doctorate was not, is a fascination with the energy that I've had since I was a little kid. It always made me wonder why back then we only had full-serve gas stations, why we could pull into this service station and a gentleman would come out and put this liquid into a car, and we needed that liquid to make the car go. And my parents couldn't explain to me, well, water's a liquid, why can't we just put that in the car and make it go? At any rate, my dad knew enough chemistry, he started to explain to me the difference and all, and I thought that was fascinating and always wanted to do something in energy. And the other thing that I always, I guess I inherited from my family was this interest in entrepreneurship, doing my own thing. But, and it's not been a smooth ride. There's been plenty of downs, but since Professor Crowder only gave me a few minutes to speak here, I'm going to skip over the failures and just get to the successes. So, I guess the first culture shock that I had on that, leaving Miami on Friday and starting with Exxon Monday morning, was an issue of scale. I mean, I would run reactions in a lab, maybe in a 1-liter flask. And here, I'm in one of the world's largest refining petrochemical complexes in the world. And a distillation tower could be 250 feet tall and 12 feet in diameter. The plant was so big that you'd take pickup trucks to go out to one of the operating units. I'll never forget one of my first times doing it, I got lost. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of pipes are running all over hell and back. I don't know what they do. I don't even know where I am. There's a radio in there, and I knew that if I picked up the radio and had to tell people that I didn't know where the hell I was, it was going to be a problem. But as fate would have it, my career really started to take off at Exxon. And if anything, I should have stayed there longer, mainly because I was learning so much. In fact, I will tell you that that is when I truly feel my education started. That's when I started learning. I got a bunch of skills from my PhD, and I hope you all will as well. And it's those skills, more so than your graduate work, that's probably going to be the thing that helps you make your PhD careers a huge success. It's the skills, it's the thinking process. So as Renata mentioned, I left Exxon. Actually, I got a call from one of my best friends from Miami that we all used to talk about being in business together. I'll never forget, it was a Tuesday, and he said, I think I found a business that we might want to think about running together. And I said, okay. He said, when can you come up and take a look? And I said, well, I should be able to get a day off in a month or so. And he said, well, I was hoping you could come up tonight. And I said, Bob, if I go into my boss's office and I ask for a day off unscheduled in the middle of the week, he's going to know what's going on. He goes, well, I think this is a really good opportunity. So, of course, as one of my closest friends who I completely trusted, got on a plane that night, came back the next night, went into Exxon the next morning, and told him I was leaving. I guess I knew that I was on the right track, even though I was choosing to leave, because there were people way above me on the Exxon totem pole that called me up and said, we heard you're leaving, sounds like a great opportunity. If it doesn't work out for you, please come back. I'll make sure there's a job here for you. And it was that statement that taught me, again, how much the importance of Exxon was in my life, because I learned that's how you treat employees. If they're going to leave and you're on good terms, make sure you stay on good terms. Don't burn a bridge unless you absolutely positively have to, and that's rarely the case. Reaction 35, as Renata explained, is the result of a bunch of merger and acquisition work, and I look at that now as sort of my laboratory. I'm by far the oldest person in the company, and most everyone else is out of school looking to learn. They're hungry, they're enthusiastic, like I'm sure all of you are, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with them and try to guide them along in their careers. We've had several people leave, and all I can do is what Exxon taught me. Sounds like a great opportunity. You've done a great job here. If it doesn't work out, please give me a call. I'll do everything I can to bring you back on. So I guess that takes me back to the Miami part. How am I doing time-wise? Okay. The Miami part with the doctorate. And like I said, I went back and I looked at my PhD thesis not too long ago. Why? Don't ask. And I can't even remember knowing that stuff. It was quite some time ago, and that's why I'm emphasizing the fact that that PhD process, it is a skills learning achievement, almost more so than the actual technical work that went into it, especially if you're going to go into industry. You don't know what you're going to work on, but what that did for me is it taught me how that I wanted to look at the problems that could be faced in the company and try to understand what the problem is. That is a critical thing that I learned. If you can't really put a good name and understanding on the problem, it makes it very, very difficult to solve. And you may get to the end and not realize that what you've solved was not the problem you were trying to solve in the first place. Industry's frown on that sort of thing. The other thing that I've come to find out is it's perseverance. You know, there's so many times in my doctorate when experiments wouldn't work, or I thought that something was going to happen, it didn't happen, and I had to figure out why and redo it and all. But it was that attitude of sticking with it, because so many times I've come to realize that just when I was thinking, okay, it's time to throw in the towel and move on, that's when a breakthrough would come. And that perseverance and persistence is an important quality. The fact that you all have gone through the PhD process tells me you already have that. Don't ever lose that. That's a critical aspect. And I guess I wanted to go on with a couple of lessons here. First, you always have to be able to look at yourself, and I do what's called the mirror test. This is where I try to make sure that everything I'm doing with integrity. If I can't stand in front of the mirror and have a conversation with the person looking back at me and feel good about it, I'm doing something wrong, and I just don't like that to happen. And it's amazing how quickly people will pick up on that if you're anything other but following that high integrity pathway. The other thing is dependability. You just can't miss deadlines. You need to understand what they are. You have to agree to them up front, but you don't want to miss those. And in the rare case where you do, you got to let people know in advance. Something's come up, I'm not going to be able to do this. You don't want to let them know after the fact. Keep that credibility and that dependability. Those are hallmark lessons that I've learned throughout my career. Big one, prioritization. I don't care what you do. You're not going to get it all done. So you might as well just face that fact right now. And the better you get, the more people are going to come looking for your time because they're going to realize that, hey, this is a person that can solve problems. You have to be able to say no. And there's one of my favorite quotes is by Stephen Covey, and it's, the noise of the urgent creates the illusion of importance. You got to prioritize. Just because something seems urgent does not necessarily mean it is urgent. It might be urgent for a person to do something about it. Did I just fill this? Okay. But it might not be all that important to you or your boss or the company. So it's important to understand the values of the institution, whether it's a company or an academic institution. Understand what their values are. Try to ensure that you're aligning your work, your efforts with a prioritized system that aligns with those values. If it's a company, find out why that company and how that company makes money. That's always a good sign. I mean, I hate to say it, but if the company's not making money, it's not going to be able to keep its employees around. It's not going to be able to stay in business. So if you can do things on a prioritized basis that help the company succeed and achieve its goals and objectives, that's going to be a huge help for you as well. Let's see here. I want to go back to dependability because I have one little story. It's kind of actually, well, I thought it was interesting. My best friend from Miami was getting married, and I was going to be the best man at his wedding. I'm in Baton Rouge, and he's getting married up in Nashville. So I was going to leave early to get up there, make sure I got there to get to the rehearsal dinner and all that. And I'm walking out of my office, and the phone rings on my desk. We didn't have cell phones back then, by the way. And I thought, and I went back and I answered it. And there's a guy literally screaming. But he was screaming in the language, and I had no idea what it was. And I said, "What language is this?" And he said, "It's Dutch." I said, "Well, I don't speak Dutch. What's the problem?" Well, we had shipped over a product from Exxon, and long story short, you have to heat it to get it off the ship that it came on. They overheated it, and now they could not get the temperature to go back down. They thought it was going to explode. So Rotterdam at that time was the largest port in the world, and 3/4 of it was shut down, which is why he was screaming at me in Dutch. He wanted to know if there was inhibitor in it. And I was sure there was, but he wanted evidence, and I couldn't really blame him for that. So I had to go and track down the sample and develop an analytical method to make sure that inhibitor was in there and all. I ended up staying probably another 6 or 8 hours. And I still got to the rehearsal dinner on time, but it was only because I drove all night. And I came back, and the accolades that I got for doing that were tremendous. It's like that was a huge help in my career. I think, gosh, everything worked out great for the wedding. It went perfectly. I was there on time, didn't disappoint anybody. And had I not answered that phone call, I never would have gotten all these accolades. So you just never know what's going to happen. But that's one way that I was able to show that they could depend on me. Now, I wouldn't say that was true all the time, but like I said, I'm not discussing failures today, just successes. So those are the types of things, those opportunities that are going to come up, you just never know. But if you can look at it and make the best of it and actually do something like what I was able to do, which was, pretty actually shocking to myself. Those are the things that can really make a career, especially if you can get off to a good early start with something like that. Look for those opportunities. This one fell in my lap. If I had to do it over again, I'd be looking for something where I could do that time of effort. I just got lucky. So the other things that I wanted to, another lesson, I guess, is remember, there's always at least 3 sides to every story. I remember this was sort of a failure. Somebody told me something that had happened at Exxon, and I went on the war path, and I found out that, well, that was one person's version, and the other 10,000 people in the company saw it differently. I chose the wrong side. Had I just taken a step back and listened to everybody, I could have avoided a bunch of trouble. And you're going to find that's true in life, whether you're in business or even within a family. There's always going to be multiple sides. Try to figure out what the truth is. And chances are it's going to lie somewhere in between the various versions of the stories that you hear. Okay, so far? So then I guess the other thing that I would say is, and I want to stress this as well, although I think I've been stressing a lot of things to you, if you hope nobody's taking notes, and that's keep learning. I mean, the reason that Reaction 35 is so much fun for me is not just helping these young people, but when they learn, I learn. And that helps keep me fresh. They bring in new ideas, and I love to see that happen. I love to take ideas and get them moving forward. But I'm always looking to pick up a new skill, learn something new, get exposure to different things. You can't do everything, but when you stop learning, I think that's why a lot of people, once they get into retirement, they slow down, they stop doing those types of things. And what else is there? I don't play golf. I mean, I got to do something with my time, and it's that learning that gives me that drive, that enthusiasm, because I still love it, and it's very, very helpful for me. And it's been a huge help in my career, and I hope I never lose it. I hope you never do either, even though I know you've just gone through a hell of a lot of hard work getting your doctorates and all so far. So I guess the reason that they asked me to come back as alumni speaker is because I did go straight into industry. I did not go into academia, and I'm going to assume that a good percentage of you all that have just received your PhDs will probably end up going into industry as well. Regardless, whichever path you choose, the PhD gives you that toolkit, and you can do with it what you want. Keep in mind, if you do the business side, whether it's a small to mid-sized company like I've been doing most of my career, or it's a large company, there's plenty of people that have PhDs that rise all the way to the top of that company if that's what they want to do. There's also plenty of room to move up on the technical ladder if that's what you want to do as well. Does that mean I'm done? So at any rate, the other thing is, and this goes back to the prioritization value thing, and that is look for the big problems. That's where you can really contribute and really make a difference. And those are going to be the things that if they align with the company's values, that's going to be something that you can look to help prioritize. Because like I said, you can't get it all done. I used to make task lists, and it would just be very frustrating. I had to pick the 2 or 3 top things that I wanted to focus on that day, and sometimes I'm better at it than others, and issues are always going to come up. But if you can identify and start early by picking out the top priorities that you want to accomplish that day, that week, that month, that's going to go a long way to helping your career, whether it's an academic career or a business career. And the PhD, you're going to be starting wherever you go. The PhD is going to give you influence, but this is the start, and you can build on that. And that's where that credibility, dependability, and integrity all come together. If you can maintain all of those, then the influence that your doctorate's giving you as a start is a great platform on which to build. So at any rate, as I mentioned, my mom never saw me get hooded like you all are doing today. And although my dad still refers to my brother, who's a radiologist, as the real doctor in the family, I love what I've done. Miami was a huge help for me, and all I can do is wish you all the success that I've had, if not many times more. And you're off to a great start. I wish you the best. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Sherman says that he likes to fix problems. We might need him to come take a look at this microphone. So, Dr. Sherman, thank you so much for an incredible speech and words of wisdom for our graduates, families, and faculty. We are extremely proud of your accomplishments and look for many more to come, it sounds like. We have a small gift for you that we'd just like to say thank you. I've known Dr. Sherman for many years, and I know he's going to like this gift. So you might have noticed the dress as we entered this afternoon. The academic costume, which makes the commencement procession so colorful, is as old as universities, more than 800 years old. It goes back to the days when students were members of minor clergy and wore monkish gowns and hoods. In those days of unheated classrooms, the hood served a very practical purpose. When the hood was not pulled over the head for warmth, the tippet at the end of the hood, and that's this thing back here that we fight with every time we put it on, served as a convenient pocket to carry items such as reading and writing materials, and as legend tells, a snack or a discreet beverage. And discreet is the important word in front of that. But the gown and hood indicate the degree to be received and held by the wearer. The gown for a doctoral degree has bell-shaped sleeves, is faced down the front with velvet, and it has 3 velvet crossbars on each sleeve. And so all of you have that on your gowns. In the United States, the hood is edged with velvet in a color representing the type of degree received. And it's lined in silk with the colors of the university conferring the degree. For example, my hood is edged to dark blue for a Doctor of Philosophy and is lined in blue and orange for my alma mater, the University of Virginia. Miami's doctoral hoods are edged with dark blue for the Doctor of Philosophy or light blue for the Doctor of Education. And of course, it's lined with our beautiful red and white. In today's ceremony, each graduate will receive their doctoral hood as a keepsake, and so that when they wear their gowns and hoods as faculty, they will join the ranks of a procession that displays their degree and Miami University colors with pride. I now have the pleasure of presenting the candidates for the doctoral degree. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and for Doctor of Education degrees please stand as you're able and to be recognized? It is my distinct honor to present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Education. The doctoral degree is the highest academic degree and culminates in a minimum of 4 years and often much more of study and research beyond the baccalaureate. After completion of formal coursework, the candidate must pass comprehensive written and oral exams in their field of study and then write and defend a dissertation that makes an original scholarly contribution to the discipline. Each of these candidates have completed all of their requirements for his, her, or their degree, and I present these future scholars and leaders in science, education, social science, and humanities to you with pride. You guys can be seated for right now, but don't get comfortable. All attendees, advisors, and doctoral students shall remain seated until the student's name is called and appears on the screen. When the student's name is called, the doctoral student and advisor should proceed to the platform for individual hooding. After hooding, each student will proceed to the designated location to receive, to get their picture and to receive their diplomas. So don't forget those. So here we go, Michael Eubanks. EDD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Joel Moline. Okay. Lauren Martin. EDD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Erica Fernandez. Terrence Noradine. EDD in Educational Leadership, Major Professor, Dr. Lisa Weems, Hooding Professor, Dr. Guy Parmesan. Erica Simmons. EDD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Erica Fernandez. Santana Williams. EDD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Joel Moline. Elizabeth Aaron, PhD in Psychology, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Elizabeth Keel. Carl Yerby Abdurin, PhD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Thomas Petter. McKenna Akan, PhD in Psychology, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Rashali Rival. Akwasi Jima, PhD in Social Gerontology. Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Catherine Abbott. Shatha Ahubeo, PhD in English, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Heidi McKee. Mastano Zimbari, PhD in Educational Leadership, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Erica Fernandez. Rachel Geyer, PhD in Psychology, Major and Hooding Professor, Dr. Rosemarie Ward. J. Vieira Green, PhD in English. Major Professor Dr. Michelle Navakis, Hooding Professor Dr. Jasmine Sutton. Tristan Hall, PhD in Student Affairs and Higher Education. Major in Hooding Professor Dr. Catherine Cho. Sue Jin, PhD in Educational Leadership. Major in Hooding Professor Dr. Amin Wang. Ishar Karmacharya, PhD. In Social Gerontology, Major Professor Dr. Saruna Jamar, Hooding Professors Dr. Saruna Jamar and Dr. Leah Jansen. Shruti Kingal Ram, PhD in Psychology. Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Jeffrey Hunger. Thalini Madatalaway, PhD in Chemistry. Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Carol Dabney Smith. Reese Moore, PhD in Social Gerontology. Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Jennifer Kinney. Abhishek Kumar Sen, PhD in Cellular, Molecular, and Structural Biology, Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Andrew Jones. Haley Shannon, PhD in Biology. Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Ann Ripstra. Kalichi Uzegwu, PhD in Psychology. Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Vishali Raval. Samuel Van Fleet. PhD in Social Gerontology, Major and Hooding Professor Dr. Jonathan Vivoda. Wanelli Ventura Valentine. PhD in geology, major in hooding professor Dr. Michael Brzezinski. Kamari Walpita, PhD in chemistry, major in hooding professor Dr. David Tierney. And Vidusha Weesinghay, PhD in chemistry. Major Professor Dr. Andrea Kravitz, hooding Professor Dr. Carol Dabney Smith.
Would our newest graduate candidates please rise if able? You ready to wrap this up? Yes, I bet you are. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio, the Miami University Board of Trustees, and the faculty of Miami University, I hereby confer upon you the doctorate degree which you so earned. Congratulations. And for those that could not join us today, we confer the doctorate degree in absentia. So, ladies and gentlemen, your newest doctoral graduates of Miami University.
Okay, could everybody be seated just for a couple more minutes and then we can really get the celebration going. So this concludes the 2025 doctoral hooding and graduation ceremony. I want to thank the grad school and Miami staff for organizing and producing this ceremony. I want to congratulate my colleagues, faculty mentors, and family members who have supported these graduates in their careers. I especially want to congratulate the graduates for their hard work and perseverance. Fewer than 2% of all Americans earn a doctoral degree, so each of you now is a member of an honored community. Each of you has the responsibility to contribute to the betterment of humankind, as well as to natural environment from Oxford, Ohio, to throughout the world. You're the next generation of scholars and leaders in science, education, social sciences, and humanities. We need your talents, work ethic, and intelligence to tackle the many challenges of our world. We look forward to hearing and reading about the great things that you will do. So to quote a book that I used to read to my kids all the time from Dr. Seuss, so be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places, today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Best wishes to all of you in love and honor. And so your first degree test is now going to be to sing along with us with the alma mater. So if you'll look into your program, it's on the next to the last page. Would everyone please stand as you're able to sing along with us? So if you'll stay near your seats, the platform party will recess, and then we'll have the students follow behind us. So thank you all for being here today.